Hello. Dog is already upset with me. Dog is already upset. All I said was hello, and dog already wants a treat. Hello, everybody. How's it going? We've got to get the dog a treat before he destroys my entire setup. He loves to hang out directly underneath my desk where all the cables are. And when I start talking, he gets in a huff and starts stepping on all the cables. So let's give the dog a treat before that is the end of everything. So, okay. Let's give the dog a treat. Hello. There we go. So dog got treat. Our divine duty is now done. And I just realized this camera angle is a good one for getting all of the dog's movements. Oh, is he about to prove me wrong? And then, of course, he walks right off screen. I was like, oh, look. What the fuck? I thought that I was so cool. I found a spot to put the camera that I was like, look, it can get basically everywhere the dog usually goes. And then he just laid down in a spot that he's never laid down before. The only place that the camera can't see. Look at that. Like, hello. He's under my tripod. He does not do that. He doesn't go. He's always like out. Whatever. This dog, I swear. There. I'm trying so hard to get him in the camera, but we're gonna have to wait till he gets settled. How's it going, everybody? My name is Endeavorance. Are you moving again? And now he gets settled. Hold on. Okay. Now we're good. Now we can start the stream. It took us a few tries, but we got there eventually. No circles. Yeah, he went right down. Hello, everybody. My name is Endeavorance. It is Friday, October 10th. There's a year in there somewhere. I'm not even going to bother. Somebody asked, let's see. Where is the question? Dog stuff is good dog. Where's I saw a thing I wanted to reply to, and I've already lost it. There it is. Found it. Keep doing the needful wrote, is Flynn's leg better? So last time, that's a lot, buddy. That's a lot. That's some terms of service violation right there. Last time, I mentioned that Flynn was having a bit of a hard time. He must have done something to one of his front legs and he's been limping. I am very glad to report that he has been doing better. He's definitely still goes through moments where it's like, oh, my leg does still hurt. But you wouldn't know it half the time. Like, he's kind of back to his normal, like, trotting around, doing pretty good. It's very clear that he's on the mend. His energy levels are back up. He wanted to do nothing but the highest energy playtime last night, just for hours. So he's doing better. I still have no idea how he managed to hurt himself, but yeah. So he once once he was limping around just a couple days ago, now he wants to tackle me and bite me and wrestle and get suplexed. Like, I straight up I suplexed this animal last night. Some people would think that's abuse. He thinks it's playtime. That's playtime for him, is getting suplexed. So that's pretty good. If you ever want to form a lifelong bond with a dog, just suplex them. Easy. Flynn has cat energy. Don't let him hear that. He'll get real upset with you. Like real upset. Buddy, what are you licking? What are you even licking? You looking to eat, is that a tasty foot? Can I have some? Can I get some of that foot? Yo, damn. It's a delicacy. Oh, curled up pup. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Hold on. Look at the form. Look at that. Look at the tightness of the curl. You gotta respect the art form. You gotta respect the talent, the prowess. Oh, the camera's all angled now. That's gonna bug me. Okay, we did it. Flynn's gonna zig when you want to zag. All right, how's it going, everybody? How are you doing this morning? Everybody doing good? Can I get a vibe check on a scale of 1 to... On a scale of 1 to, how are we doing? How are we doing? What an artist. He is just powerful in his capability. I love how much you love him. This dog knows nothing but, like, tender loving care at my hand. I love this animal so goddamn much, and I preempt his needs more than my own. I'm better at managing my dog's needs than I am at managing my own. This animal, I will like go out of my way to find him before he falls asleep at night, and if there is a way to make him more comfortable, I'll do that. He has a place that he likes to sleep at night that I have set up a box fan pointing directly at the place that he likes to sleep, and if he's in that spot, I'll turn on that fan for him so that he has a breeze on him overnight, because he's otherwise, you know, a little warm. It's cooling off now, so I don't need to do that as much, but that is the degree to which I care about this animal. And wow, he's still just licking something. Gotta tuck him in. I every single night, I think maybe every single night since I got him, I've always said, "Good night, buddy. I love you," and I give him a kiss on the head. I can't not. I've gotten out of bed after getting myself all settled in bed to go find him and do that. It's important. It's important. Absurdtober says, how do we feel about setting work passwords, as you always have to enter words or phrases I need to either tell myself for education? Wait, how do we feel about setting work passwords? You always have to enter words or phrases I need to tell myself either for education or positive self-talk. Look, I'm trying, but it feels like this statement switches halfway through. It feels like I like the first half of the sentence is one thought, and the second half of the sentence is a completely different sentence. Mistyped, good. Because I thought I was having a stroke. Legally, you gotta. It's important. You got to legally kiss the dog on the head every single time. I'm seeing on our vibe check from 1 to 2, I see a 0. That's a lot. +2, +1, dirt, 1-ish. Rumpled Crow just says, I'm alive. We've got a 22, which is a lot. A lot more than the maximum of 2. Heidi ho! Ollie, how's it going? How's it going? My vibe is definitely -1 today. Why? Oh my goodness. Now look at him. Now look at him. My God. I am breathing. That is as much as I can give you, says Coil. I wouldn't ask for anything more. Honestly, metabolizing, producing ATP, digestion, respiration. Those are the things that I would ask of all of you. I wouldn't ask much more. Not in this economy. Cute doggos. Oh, he's really, really good. Nobody in the world has ever been more tired than this dog, says him, Diana Jones. He is a sleepy boy until he's not. And then he's a sleepy boy again. He's definitely getting older. I got him in 2018. And when I got him, the shelter told me he was 2. But I took him to the vet, and the vet was like, nah, these are puppy teeth. He's closer to 1. So he was either 1 or 2 in 2018. It's now 2025. Hey, yo, what? Wait, so that means he's now
just subscribed.
Somewhere between 7 and 9, I guess. Something to that effect. So he's definitely getting a little older, but he's not, like, he's always had a white face. It's not like he's like an elderly dog now. A lot of people ask, like, oh, he's an old boy. I'm like they've been asking that since he was a puppy because he has a white face. But yeah, like he has definitely mellowed out. He has certainly mellowed out and gotten sleepier. He's always been a snooze boy, and he's always snoozed as hard as he's played. But he's definitely more snoozy than before. I was worried he was a lot older. No, yeah, he's at the oldest, I think he's 10. At the absolute highest end right now, I think he might be 10. But yeah. 2018 was 2 years ago. I don't know what you mean. Extremely true. Just so intensely true. Oh my God. Holy shit. I've been having some trouble recently because I watched a retrospective. Okay, backing up. I watched a video recently that came out in 2020, and I was like, oh, that's pretty recent. And then I realized that wasn't pretty recent. That's not recent. That's 5 years ago. What I was going to say about retrospectives, if you're ever bored, just go to YouTube and search for a retrospective video on a game that you loved growing up. There's a whole, if you didn't know about this category of video, there's a whole category of videos on YouTube of like extremely autistic nerds going through and picking apart older games as intensely as they possibly can, doing like hours long retrospectives, explaining everything in the game, the development of the game, how it was received, how it played, you know, how does it hold up now, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's essentially just like a free trove of hours of people info dumping on like things that you probably had a lot of experience with and would love to have that info dump with. So I did that recently for Fire Emblem 3 Houses and watched a video that came out in like 2020, I guess, about it. Love that game. The video was like 2 hours long. Watched the whole thing. It was great. I've always gone through phases of like, I need long, boring video to fall asleep to, and that's always a good option. Is like video game retrospectives. There's like show and movie ones too, if it's like, you know, you really like some show that came out you know, in the early aughts or something. But retro videos, always good. COVID was 5 years ago. Time is an illusion. COVID's also still now. Yike. I know that's probably not what you meant, but yike. It is truly whack. I remember very strongly exactly where I was when COVID started. I'm gonna jot that down and get back to that in a sec. COVID story, because I do want to reply to Static Max says that sounds like taking the fun out of the game though. So not necessarily. I understand what you're saying here. I know a lot of people who see games very differently than I do. When a game changes from a thing that you're like enjoying and like playing as it was meant to be played, and then it breaks down and turns into a problem to be solved, and like people try to optimize every single thing, when that becomes the point of the game, I get a little about it. Like I get so upset if I'm posting about like a run in Baldur's Gate or something, and I explain what my character setup is, and people are like, that's suboptimal. I'm like, yeah, dog, because I'm having fun and doing what I want to do. It doesn't need to be optimized. But the retros are more like hey, let's talk about this thing that we both had a shared experience with and like revisit it now that we're older. So it's like revisiting things that you're nostalgic for, but through a lens of not having that nostalgia. And what I have found is that, like, yeah, I'm still nostalgic for this stuff, but it's like, damn, I had good fucking taste. This stuff is still really good. Like, these games are still really enjoyable. It wasn't just that I was a kid and thought it was a good game. It's like, wow, I now understand and have more insight into like what this was doing to me when I was a child and like what lessons I was getting from this. So it's actually really interesting. I find it kind of enhances the experience. But yeah, I remember where I was when COVID like really hit. I was in Texas, which is not where I live. I went to Texas for a work retreat. We were doing like a work trip where we had rented some place in Austin because we had a few employees there and we were a distributed team. So we were all going to meet in Austin, which was the most centralized location. I was in a hotel room and I woke up at 3 a.m. to a text from my boss saying, hey, the trip's canceled. After I had landed and gotten to my hotel. And he's like, hey, yeah, COVID is a thing. And we're canceling all trips. And everyone is now mandatory work from home. I was the only person I got there like a couple days early because I had a friend in Austin. So like I got there a little early and immediately was told, don't go to Austin. So I turned back around and flew home. Let's see here. Two hours. I've seen stuff from Final Fantasy games that are like 5. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. There's some really long ones. And they are wonderful. Goobergertz says, first live I've caught. Watch your vids a lot. Hello. Hello. Thank you for watching my vids a lot. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. For new viewers, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. I am newly streaming to Twitch, YouTube. Oh, sorry. I'm newly streaming to YouTube and Owncast. I've been streaming to Twitch for a few years, but I've been wanting to be able to cross stream to YouTube for ages. So happy to finally be doing it. Squade says, my break's over. Have a great stream. Thanks for stopping by. The VOD will always be available later if you want to catch that. Enjoy the work. My adult fixation with Zelda. I haven't played a Zelda game in a while. You want to know a secret? I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom. That's not true. I played like an hour of Tears of the Kingdom. And largely it was just like my brain was not in it. Like my mind wasn't in it. It felt too much like Breath of the Wild when I started. I know it's not. I know it's a very different game, and I've heard it's fucking incredible all the way through. I'm waiting for my brain to be like, now is the time. But when it came out, I couldn't gel with it at the time. Like this is not the kind of game I needed. So I want to play it at some point. Everyone that I know who's played it has been like, it is fucking amazing. It's like one of the best video games ever made. I just haven't gotten there. I don't know. I have technically never finished a Zelda game, but I love Zelda. Now that's interesting. To be fair, it's an endeavor. Zelda games are long. And if you want to like, if you're the kind of person that wants to get all the stuff, especially if you're like a completionist, Zelda games are long. They're not the worst for completionists, but like a lot of them have, you know, discounting Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom with their like 1,000 collectible items or whatever. Even just like let's say Twilight Princess. If you wanted to get all of the heart pieces, that's still just a lot. Because like to get all the heart pieces, you have to also do other collection mini games where you have to collect a certain number of things because the reward for collecting all these things is a heart piece. So it's like, if you want to get all the things, you got to get all the things. And it's quite a lot. I missed some subscribes from earlier. Let me call those out. Hello, Baker's Dozen, 2013, subscribed at 2 months, and Localez at 13 months. And the Debonair Dragon also subscribed. Welcome into new followers also. We've got Major Linux, Hearth Holmes, and a Clockwork Ace. Cockwork. The golden bug things in Twilight Princess. Oh no, don't even get me started. The game that I don't know if I regret it. but I 100%ed, like 100%ed Super Mario Odyssey. Hundo percent. Super Mario Odyssey, I got every single moon, every single purple coin, every single, like literally every single piece of thing that you could accomplish and check off in that game I did. And I did it when I was trying to close on my current, the place that I live, the house I live in. Closing on a house is extremely stressful. Extremely stressful. And I needed to throw myself into something to keep me from losing my mind, as I was essentially just waiting for a phone call that was going to come in at some point this month about whether or not my future is going to significantly change next month. So I was like, I need to not be sitting here in anxiety for 30 straight days. And I threw myself into just playing Mario Odyssey, and I did everything it had to offer. And then I was like, okay, now what? It was fun, but goddamn. Hello. Sure is, and it took like a month for me to close. It's so much. Buying a house is insane. This is true. When I was signing the papers for, essentially when I was signing my mortgage, right? Like I was signing a paper basically saying like, I commit to giving money to a bank for the rest of my life or I'll be sent to jail. That's the paper I was signing. And the realtor who was selling the house was like a cowboy cosplayer. Like he had boots with spurs and a cowboy hat. And this man is sitting across the table from me. And like, I'm supposed to sit here looking at this literal cowboy as I'm signing a paper that says, I pledge my life to the banks. It was a very bizarre experience for me. Yo, what's popping? Says Barrel Satellite. What is popping? Let's see. Attention. We are being raided. I'll tell you what's popping. Grim Exodus just raided us with 4 folks. What's up? Welcome in, raiders. That's what's popping. Mario Odyssey feels like a fever dream to me in a good way because my first playthrough was 100% and I never did it again. So you just kind of like fell backwards into an intense grind that just stayed with you and then disappeared. EU available stream. Take my Bezos money. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the Prime sub. Is this an EU accessible stream? That's good to know. Hoorah. Yay. I didn't know that. Time zones don't make sense in my head. But that's also because time doesn't make sense in my head. It's 4 p.m. in the UK. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Because I know it's like 2 a.m. in Australia and New Zealand. Something like that. Like 1 a.m. in New Zealand. They did another Haka, I think, in the New Zealand Parliament, by the way. That's exciting. Did that happen? Let's see. New Zealand Haka. Did that happen again? Yup. It did. Unplanned Haka halts New Zealand Parliament after MP's speech. Oh, there's no video. Why didn't they do the video? Okay. Let's see if we can find the video real quick. Pull that up because it's really fucking funny. The guy who's like, I don't know, whoever like the head of the parliament thing is, just looks so obviously like it's happening again. New Zealand Parliament Haka. Let's see, please. Yeah. Okay.
No, not that. The guarantee was that would not be taking place.
No, not that. Look at him. Oh, God.
The House is suspended.
Maybe, here's a thought. Maybe if you colonize an entire island, and then their native population does a native expression of power in your parliament, maybe you're the one that shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. Like, maybe remember that you're the guest there. That is not your native land. They can do whatever the fuck they want. All right? Like, it is crazy work to be sitting at the head of a parliament in a country that you colonized and being like, stop engaging in native traditions. You said you wouldn't do that in my parliament. This is where we do politics. We don't engage with humanity here. Like, we don't do culture here. We just do politics, which famously has nothing to do with culture. We're getting a Qatari military base in Idaho. I just saw a thing about this. I don't actually know. We can learn this together. Let's see. Qatar base, Idaho. I think it might be more of like a like not a base, but like a room, you know? I'm trying to find a not awful source. There's an awful source, but it's the least of the awful that I saw. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Friday said that the U.S. will host a new Qatari Air Force facility in Idaho, where pilots will train to fly F-15s. Hegseth said that the administration signed a letter greenlighting the building of a Qatar Emiri Air Force contingent at the Mountain Home Air Force Base in southwestern Idaho. It already hosts Singapore's Air Force F-15SG fighter jets. Enhanced combined training, increased lethality, and interoperability. I mean, I don't know. This doesn't really feel like much to me. Like, let's start before we're like, what the fuck is this and what are they doing? Let's start by acknowledging that military bases on foreign soil at large is insane, and the U.S. is one of the only countries that does it at all, and it's a fear tactic. Countries with foreign military bases, it's really wild. Where's the like list O? Yeah, overseas military bases by country. This is, wait, what am I looking at? 13 countries the most. I just want to see the difference between the freaking numbers. What the hell? Okay, US, for instance, has more than 750 military bases across 80 countries, has deployed nearly 175,000 soldiers in 159 countries across the world. What is the second highest, though? It's like China with like a third. Where is it? What countries and military bases? The Gun Zone. TheGunZone.com is here to save us. This is insane that I can't find this answer. Okay, so it's the US, Turkey, UK, Russia, India, and France are the ones with the most. I just want to... I swear that I once found a list that was just, this country has this many. Oh, well. Point being, let's see if there is already... Like, they say they already have Singapore's Air Force there. Is there a list website, like list all info? Let's see. Comparison of countries with foreign military bases. A visual guide to foreign bases. Military empires. Okay. Fucking finally. Okay. Found it. Countries with military bases in 10 or more countries. The USA has 877 bases in 95 countries. The UK has 177 and 38. India has 20 and 12. Russia has 29 and 10. Turkey has 133 and 9. China has 6 and 6. So, like, our number one, like, you could say Russia, I guess, but our essentially the country that we try to make positioned as our biggest adversary has 6 foreign military bases. We have 877. That is called a fear tactic. That is an empire. That is imperialism. So, yeah, but let's look at Qatar military bases in US. Is there precedent? What is this? This is their base, not ours. At the end of the day, we are allies militarily with Qatar, right? So, like, giving them a space in our military installations is to be expected. Now, do I want that? No. do I want to have my tax dollars go towards housing and training a foreign military on our soil to do wars that I also don't approve of us doing in the first place? No. But this is a great example, I think, of a story that's going to get a lot of attention in the next few days. There's going to be a lot of outrage cycles about, like, oh, they're installing a military base in this location, and, like, we can connect the dots between these things. And this to me smells like a thing that the US just does. You know, like, this isn't a, like, how could they do this? This is like paperwork, right? Like, this is just normal. And I try to not get too upset about things that are, like, normal. Normal for America doesn't mean okay or acceptable. It just means normal. It doesn't mean that this is okay. It doesn't mean that I approve of it. But in terms of the things that are raising red flags for me, this doesn't quite pass my filter, purely because, like, there's a lot of other shit happening. Training other militaries is already a thing. Yeah. Like, our military does a lot of foreign military training already, and, like, bringing in foreign militaries and training them, like, it's a thing that we do. They pay us money to do it also. But also we do it strategically to exert control over foreign militaries by proxy. So, like, that's what America do. Free country. Yay. Yay us. Mo says, hello, I made it. Hello. How is it going? Welcome in. Good to see you. Let's talk about the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, they did it. They did it. Nobel Peace Prize. They gave it to me. That's what this is all about. They did not give it to me. I did not get the Nobel, the peaceful one. They didn't do that for me. So, fuck them. Yeah, so they gave it to the, like, Venezuelan opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado. I should know how that's pronounced. She is in Venezuela and is essentially, if you recall, Maduro, like, lost an election in Venezuela, right? Like, Maduro lost election, opposition, but, like, he, like, refused to accept it, right? On July 28th, let me make sure this is the right one. Yep. On July 28th of last year, an opposition candidate defeated Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro at the polls, and then used the government's own voting technology to prove it. Yet Maduro remains in power. We explain why an elected autocrat would choose transparent, auditable vote counting technology. Yeah. Long story short, Maduro lost the election, like, provably lost the election, and was like, and refused. Where have I heard that before? Anyway, they awarded the Nobel Peace Prize to the opposition leader. who despite being in a country where the leader refused to acknowledge their victory and refused to let go of power, the opposition leader hasn't backed down, which is pretty fucking rad. And I think merits some acknowledgement of courage. So that's cool. I don't know what the requirements are for the Peace Prize itself, but like an acknowledgement of that's badass. It's definitely merited. Let's see. Something about Polymarket. That's not at all what I wanted. I wanted to just get a thing about the Peace Prize. There we go. Oh, I'm in shock, shocked with joy. We're shocked with joy. What is this? I can't believe it. That's a, yeah, lives in hiding in Venezuela. That's crazy. Like, we are in a place where the Democrats are refusing to like push past a private bodyguard hired by opposition to keep them out of a building that they have a legal right to enter. Right? Like, we watched as Democrat senators like looked at a guy standing in front of a door and was like, well, there's nothing I can do about this. Guess I'll just post about it on the internet. In Venezuela, their opposition leader is living in hiding and just received a Nobel Peace Prize for the danger that she's consistently putting herself in. Grow a spine. Like, at all. Like, at all. Like, grow a single spine. Maybe the Democrats can grow a spine that they, like, just one, and they can take turns sharing it. But a singular spine would be nice. Does anyone have one we can donate? Anyone gonna, like, just have a spare spine? I'm literally right here. Why did I click the be right back button? Anyway. Using mine at the moment. Can I borrow your spine so that we can have a country? That would be nice. It would be good. You got the Procured Hat says, you got the Nobel Violence Prize? Yeah. I punched a butterfly right in the butter. And they gave me immediately, like, I checked my email and immediately it was like, congratulations, you won the Violence Prize. Dropped my pen. Blood for the Blood God? I mean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But butter for the Butter God. Are you sure it was a butterfly and not a pigeon? Is that a thing? I don't know. Is that a reference? Fracture Reality says, I would offer my spine, but it's pretty bad at confrontation. Same. I don't like having to do confrontation. I hear the med beds provide spines. Is this a pigeon meme? Oh. Breaking news. Dev punched a butterfly in the butter. There's a blood god? Maybe I've offended them? There is a blood god. It's this. That is the blood god. Pay your dues. Only good thing about UK is that it seems the Green will replace Labour, but US seems completely stuck with a two-party system, from my perspective, across the pond. We are not getting out of our two-party system anytime soon. The only way that's going to really happen, I think, is if we somehow manage to get a mass movement to get ranked choice voting a thing. I don't see it happening like in my lifetime. I think it's more likely that we watch the parties collapse, like we watch them implode and like infight and create a new and like fracture. I think that's the most likely way that we get another party. But like, we straight up don't have the infrastructure to have a third major party at the federal level. It just doesn't exist. There's not the political will. There's not really the infrastructure. And so we essentially, the reason we have so much trouble and the reason the Democrats don't get fucking anything done aside from completely tepid leadership is, given that there's two parties, and given that one of those parties is as far right as you can go, basically, like there's a party who would be completely happy. Like the only thing that they want is to be completely unimpeded in doing anything they want, which includes and is specifically rounding up and jailing anyone who is against them. So like that's one party. The other party is everyone else. So Dems are often referred to as a center-right party. And that's true. There are some people in the Democrat Party that are like slightly more progressive, but no elected official in the US government is not a capitalist, right? That's just it. So the Dems are a gaggle of people who don't have views that are aligned, because the only real criteria to be a Democrat, if you're going to run for a position in the federal government, is to not be a Republican. Same for Republicans. And so you've got a party with way too wide of a tent, despite wanting to be the big tent party, and they can't agree on shit because they have people in their party who are conservatives and people who are kind of progressive, and you can't have a coalition of a conservative progression, but that's what they are. And so they just fall apart instead, and no one thinks they can get anything done. And then simultaneously they are plagued by deifying seniority. And so we've got Chuck Schumer as the head of the Dems in the Senate, while like Donald Trump is somehow running circles around him. You've got a dying old man as a president who thinks that Portland, Oregon is literally on fire. He doesn't understand basic reality. And you can't outmaneuver him? He's running the media over you? He's controlling the narrative? I can't think of a more impotent motherfucker than Chuck Schumer. And I saw a video of him recently. They're trying, right? They're trying to rehabilitate his image a bit. They posted a video of Chuck Schumer recently doing essentially the Zoran Mamdani vibe type of video. And he said the word fuck in it. He said a curse word. And I'm watching this video and I'm like, okay, this is slightly better energy, but here's a concept. Do something. Do something. Do something. And that something shouldn't be refusing to endorse your generational candidate in New York. And that something shouldn't be talking about how Israel has a right to defend itself. And that something shouldn't be even meeting them on the grounds of their arguments, right? Like agreeing to discuss whether or not the National Guard should be sent into Portland, Oregon to quell the Antifa insurrection is not it. Having that discussion at all legitimizes the notion that there is even the concept of an Antifa uprising going on in Portland, Oregon, which is a false reality. So like engaging with that false reality and even giving it airtime by saying, by like including it in their political speeches, like, no. Talk about the direct impacts on individuals. At the end of the day, like I think Democrats are trying too hard to appeal to people's humanity and not appeal to people's selfishness. And that's their fatal mistake. Like we should be appealing to people's humanity, and people's humanity should be a driving factor in their politics. But that's not the default. That is not what we're working with. And that's not the average person. That's not what the average voter is doing. The average voter is not going to be swayed by appealing to their humanity. They're going to be swayed by appealing to their comfort, to their situation, to their sense of being cast aside, which is why Trump won. He wasn't making realistic promises, but he was telling them, I'm going to fuck up the world that made you sad, and I'm going to do crazy shit, and you are going to be better off. Like he just kept going on stage saying, if I'm president, you will be happy, and if they are president, they'll kill you, and things will be bad, and you'll be poor, and there will be too many immigrants. None of that made any sense, but that's what he went on TV and said, and no one fucking pushed back on that. And unfortunately, a lot of people will hear, oh, if he's president again, I'll get money. Great, I'll vote for him. And like, what we need to do is get people what they need, however we can get it to them now, so that people have the foundation to grow and have the space and room and privilege to be able to care about a greater society. But the situation in the US right now for the average person is so bad that like, it is understandable to prioritize your own situation over the broader picture. It's not morally good. Like, yeah, it sucks, but I get it. If you're hungry right now and Chuck Schumer comes on the TV and says, oh, well, if you vote for us, we will work on implementing a one-time tax break for first-time home buyers in this fiscal bracket. It's like, okay, that's a decent policy, but I'm actively hungry. What are we doing about that? I'm hungry and my partner is dying and we can't afford the medical bills. So what are you doing about that? Like, yay for that tax credit that you're proposing, but I'm hungry. That is what they are overlooking. And they're trying to, they've been doing this whole time and it just doesn't fucking work. Ertastico says, over here, they're blaming everything on immigrants despite the fact they make up a tiny, tiny slither of our population and pay more taxes than Brits do and don't claim any benefits. Yeah, it's the exact same here. The whole, like, we got to get rid of all the immigrants. We got to, fund ICE to the moon and back and violently go after random people on the street. It's the same thing. They've been blaming Mexican immigrants for my entire life. I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't actively being told that immigrants are a threat to my life and livelihood, which has never been proven true in my real life. Like, in my lived experience, I have not once had anything in my life impeded because of the presence of immigrants. I've had plenty of local infrastructure projects that seem to have a lot more construction workers. I have neighbors who are wonderful people who are Mexican immigrants. I have gone to block parties with some of the best food and music I've ever had and heard because of the Mexican immigrants who live here. But they've not taken my job so far. So I don't know what they're trying to convince me that they're a net negative to this country. Unfortunately, a lot of people are just xenophobic, right? Like, that's just the truth of it. I don't think that humans, I think it's a learned trait more than anything else. I talked about this last time. It's so obvious to anyone who actually pays attention, right? Like, as this comment says from Ertastico, like, it's the same in the US. Immigrants in the US pay into our tax system and get basically nothing from it. So they are contributing, they are paying taxes. Undocumented immigrants pay taxes, sales tax and income tax. They are paying more into the system than they're getting out of it. So we, US citizens, literally are subsidized by the immigrant population. So it's the opposite of what people are being told on the TV. But again, it doesn't really matter because it's not about that. They're just trying to find an argument that they can give to the people who are xenophobic, so the people who are xenophobic don't have to acknowledge that they're xenophobic either internally or externally, and they can instead say, no, I have a legitimate complaint that has nothing to do with race. It's this other thing. And if you can disprove that other thing, they're not going to change their mind because it's not about that other thing. I talked last time about how you can't change someone's mind by just showing them facts because that's not how minds change. This is a matter of worldview, not a matter of information. It's not a matter of they didn't know that immigrants are trying to come here illegally, or that border crossings is not how people get here illegally normally. They don't know those things, and they can learn those things, and it won't change their mind, because that's going after the wrong thing. That's just going to make them feel cornered, and it's going to push them closer to having to acknowledge their xenophobia. And they're not going to be ready to do that in a conversation where someone's trying to convince them to change their worldview. They're going to go into a defense mode. And so you're just going to tamp them down further into refusing to hear what you have to say. And that sucks. That sucks so much, because it shouldn't be that hard to get through to people. But unfortunately, that is where we are. We have to remember that there are people who vote and raise children who are the product of a multi-generational effort to sow xenophobic propaganda, to say that this country is supposed to be a white Christian nation, and to tell people to not question the authority that's telling you that it's not okay to like race mix and shit. That comes with a cost. Like that's not an insignificant thing. Those people are going to take like years to deconstruct that. And the only thing that you can really do, like you're not gonna trigger their deconstruction to happen instantaneously, but you can give them something to ruminate on. Like give them something to chew on that sows that doubt, so that when they go back on their own and in future engagements with things, they are reminded of like that little doubt in the back of their mind of how confident they are in professing their worldview. Ask them certain questions and watch them start to change their own mind. Yeah, like you have to. It's like Inception, right? You have to get the idea in their head that they are changing their mind, not that you are changing their mind, because they've been told to be wary of people changing their mind. They've been told to believe that anyone trying to change their mind is a nefarious actor. The next major progress for humanity will be advancing media literacy. I swear it's the most important thing that people aren't taught in school or family. Media literacy has been a hot term recently, for sure. There's the argument that media literacy is what English class is.
Hey, yo, what? Wait.
There's
Just subscribed.
I think the crisis has more to do with, and this is going to sound so fucking boomer, heathen subscribed to on YouTube. Thank you so very much. And Cash Cow, hello. Oh, I finally figured out what happened to you. You usually stream when I'm usually working. Hello, Cash Cow. What's up? 8 months. And also Master Ghost Edgy, thank you for the follow. And Procured Hat, I already thanked you. Fuck you. But welcome in and thank you for being here. Anyway, what was I saying? Media literacy. Media literacy is definitely a problem. I think the issue, and this is going to make me sound like a huge boomer, is the algorithms. It's the phones. It's the apps, right? The algorithmic feed, the endless scrolling algorithmic feed, which kind of started with the endless scrolling, like the advent of endless scrolling versus pagination. So it used to be that if you had like search results or a list of something, you had 10 items on a web page and a thing at the bottom that let you go to the next page and maybe showed you how many pages there were. And you would have to actively choose. You'd have to opt in to seeing more by hitting next. Now, when you hit the bottom of the screen, it automatically loads the next chunk of data. That eventually became, that has a lineage that ends with the TikTok vertical scrolling video algorithm, where you're not making any decisions about what you're seeing. You are simply a passive viewer. You're passively engaging with this. And a lot of people never leave the For You page. As a creator on TikTok, I can say for sure, like 99.9% of my views come from the For You page. And the amount of people that I get in my comments who are like, I follow you and I love your work and I haven't seen you in months. And it's like, okay, you could have gone to my profile. You could have gone to the following tab, but you didn't. You just stay on the For You page. And that's not me blaming them, but that is evidence of like, here are people who do have preferences and they're not getting their preferences met, and the algorithm is sending them other shit and they don't really like where they're at right now. But that shows me, it tells me that people are like scrolling on their For You page, getting certain content, and have a sort of emotional relationship with that content that's coming in. And if they're going to leave messages when they're relieved by the algorithm, like they're relieved that they got my content and they leave a message as such, that implies the opposite. When something comes onto their feed and they're not digging it, it's going to evoke an emotion. And I think that evocation of emotion combined with already not liking what you're seeing because you didn't ask to see this leads people to just like run to reply to things without thinking about anything. And I don't think that's the entirety of the media literacy issue. I think a lot of it comes down to just people don't know how to read anymore. Like that's just true. Like literacy, actual literacy rates are dropping, and like young people especially are having trouble reading and writing. But I think a lot of it just has to do with the way that we're engaging with content and the way it's framed to the consumers of that content as the For You page, the delivery of the content is the product. And when that content that's delivered is not what they want, they get upset and they take it out on the creator, not the algorithm. But then we also just have a lot of misinformation, people wanting to appear as if they are super knowledgeable on things that they don't understand. And like we saw this is happening actively right now. If you've not seen the situation with Hassan Piker and his dog, I don't follow Hassan. I don't really know much about him. I know of him by way of I've seen clips and I know he exists, but I don't really watch his content. I don't really know much about him at all. But right now, half of my feeds on the internet are filled with people freaking out, claiming that Hassan abused his dog by using a shock collar to aggressively shock her on stream. And then I went and saw the clip, and that is not at all what happened remotely. And it's obviously not what happened. But because Hassan is a big name and there's a lot of people with a chip on their shoulder and specifically don't like him, they pounced on this. They took this opportunity to push that. And essentially like the same crew of people that I already don't love their content started to loudly push content about how Hassan is abusing his dog. And then I went back and saw that he's talking about it, and he's just like, there's nothing to be done about this. Like, it's so obviously not true, but there's no amount of proof that will change that, because it's not about understanding what happened or getting further info or having an actual feeling or actually having a reaction to what happened. It's not about any of that. It's about wanting to find a reason to prove that you were always right to be mad or to not like this guy that some people like, right? It happens all the time whenever somebody gets canceled. People have to come out of the woodwork being like, I always had a bad feeling about them. It's like, okay, well, why were you following them then? Why didn't you block them? Like, why? Like, why do you have to be asserting that you have a valid reason to not enjoy someone's content? Just don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Hassan hatred is primarily driven by Zionists and the deranged. I will say that a lot of the people who were pushing very loudly the like Hassan shocked his dog thing were a lot of the people who were very upset to be outed by that Wired article about dark money in politics or in creator politics. People on the internet are frothing at the mouth to make themselves foolish. Sorry. People on the internet frothing at the mouth to make themselves look foolish is definitely a choice. People are all running to be the first person to say something. Like we see this happen all the time with just like good quips, right? How many times have you seen somebody make a joke that is exactly a joke that you saw elsewhere, and they're not acknowledging that they obviously saw it elsewhere. Like, there's no way they are the originator of this joke. They tried to make that statement and pass it off as if it was theirs. Not like, oh, hey, like they didn't qualify it by saying, I saw a funny post or someone shared this and I thought it was hilarious. They just share what it was and try to act as if it was what they said. And that happens all the goddamn time. The second that there's like a new term on the market, everyone runs to the comment sections to try to look like they were the first person to have that thought. And it's bizarre. Peaceful Chaotic Goddess says, I wonder if I've been canceled. I wonder this about myself. I don't ever search my name for anything. I don't look at like responses. I don't look at stitches or anything. I have no idea what the community reaction is to me aside from the things that chat tells me. So you could just lie to me and make up a fake reality and gaslight me. Tragedy happens and bystander wants to be first to post. Yeah, I love whenever there's like a mass shooting and someone will be like, oh my God, I was visiting there 2 months ago. And it's like, okay. Okay. So you weren't there. A lot of people were probably there at some point. Like there was a shooting in Times Square and people were like there was a shooting in Times Square. I'm about to do the thing. There's a shooting in Times Square the night that I was there. Like I got back from, I was at the MCR concert in New Jersey and I was staying in a hotel near Times Square. I get back from the concert. It's 1 a.m. I wake up the next morning to learn that there was a shooting in Times Square at 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh, like if I had missed the bus that I was on, I would have been running from gunshots. Like I would have heard the sound of gunshots and would have been running away from that. Also, I don't think that makes me a part of the victims. Like I wouldn't go on the internet and be like, you have no idea what nearly happened to me last night. I need to talk about this. Like, no. It's just like, oh wow, that's crazy. MCR Jersey concert, brag. Look, I hate to inform you that I may be going to another one next year since they announced more stuff. I was just in Times Square yesterday coming home from NYCC. I was not involved in this at all. See, okay. Matthew Rice Seeker was just in Times Square yesterday and I was there several months ago, which basically means that we were both there at the same time. Lord Rose says, I don't like Hassan because 1, his Ukraine takes are dog shit, and 2, he's a little too chummy with terrorist groups for my liking. I just don't know enough about his opinions to know. I think it's completely fair to like and not like people, you know? Like, I don't know enough about him to pass judgment on like really any of his views. I know that he is generally a leftist. I don't know if what he identifies as politically, and I'm not one to usually push people to give me that answer because I don't like having to give that answer. I think at the end of the day, I tend to not like write someone off entirely based on like a handful of takes, unless the takes are like anti-human rights, then obviously, yeah. But what I'll typically do if someone's like not rubbing me the right way, but like does have some shared alignment with me on stuff, is like, I will just put them in the category of like, I'm aware of your existence. I will hear you out here and there, and I will put the amount of stock that I feel I should put into your words as I care to. So it's not like I'm writing you off entirely. It's I'm curious to know what this person's saying about it, but that doesn't mean that I care to like support them for what they're doing, you know? Why would you throw butter so recklessly? I'm trying to I'm trying to make an omelet. I'm trying to make a good omelet. You need a lot of butter for that. You do need a lot of butter for a good omelet. Hey, chat. Can we get just a vibe check on if generally this chat prefers a Western style omelet or a French style omelet? Are we a Western or a French omelet kind of chat? I'm very curious. Gonna be honest, I think you are correct in that we don't share the experience of being in the same place in the same time, but we are all victims in the horror going on in this world. Clara, you are very correct. Like, we are all struggling from all of this shit. Like, our nervous systems collectively are fucked. Like, that's accurate. Okay, let's see. 1 pound of butter, Western, French. I don't like eggs, says Mo. Salmon the Fish says, what's the difference? So a Western omelet is typically going to be the kind that's just like folded over with stuff inside. Typically, it gets like a little bit of a browned crust on it. The French omelet is going to be the kind that's like much more silky and like rolled up, and typically just has like, it is a little like soggier in the middle and might have some like creme fraiche in it. So it's, do you want it soft and rolled or more cooked and folded? Is the thing. And then there's the is omarise. Is omarise that the thing in the Japanese one where they like put it over rice and they like cut it and it, because that shit's good too. But that is much more intense than a normal omelet. I prefer a Western omelet on its own, but nothing beats a good omarise. Yeah. That's fair. Give me stuff inside. So I want to tell a story. I've got a story for you. Here's some story. Once upon a time, I went to school. This school was a university. The school that I was going to, it was a college. I was in college, is what I'm trying to say here. Once upon a time, I was in college, and my college had a dining hall, and the dining hall had an omelet guy, had an omelet station. So it was like the classic, like, you know, you go in and there's like a dude with a griddle and like buckets of like various fillings. You go up and say like, I want an omelet with like these things, and he cooks it and gives it to you. Very thankfully, one of my friends, so in college, I was in a scholarship for women. I was in a scholarship that was specifically for supporting women in technology. Hello, it's me, a woman. I'm not a woman. I was in the scholarship as an ally, I guess. Thanks. Anyway, thankfully, because of women, right? I had a friend who was really hot. I had this really fucking hot friend, and omelet guy was down bad. So he learned her order, right? We would go to get breakfast at the dining hall. We'd walk in, and he would be waiting for her to come in. And when he saw her, he would start making the omelet. This is what I did. I lobbed myself on to my hot friend, and he also learned my order, which meant that when I entered the dining hall, as long as I was with my hot friend, I would have an omelet already being made for me, because he wanted to show that he was like being thoughtful or whatever. And I could skip the line and get my omelet. So take this as advice to go find the hottest person you know and frequent a restaurant with them. Had no clue there were differences in omelet styles. Oops. I hope I've opened a whole world for you. And now you can experience omelets as they were meant to be. Weaponized third wheel. Oh my God. But for real though, imagine like you've got a hot friend and someone's down bad, and you have a deal with them that's like, look, my presence is going to make the person that's down bad do more for us, because he wants to win over me, right? Like, as in like he wants to win you away from me. So I will be here to provide the implication of competition, when in reality, I'm just getting the benefits of your hotness, and you get more stuff from the guy who's down bad. I guess it's the functional equivalent of like when you go to a bar and a guy buys you a drink and you're like, thanks, bye. Only I get the drink.
Amazing.
So this is why I was in a scholarship for women, because exploiting women is my specialty. I prefer a crepe because too much eggs is bad. I love crepes. Oh my God. Phil Zero says, I'm 51. I have no hot friends. First of all, Phil Zero, have you considered that that maybe means you are the hot friend? Second of all, you're never too old to have hot friends. Anybody can be hot at any age. I've seen plenty of slamming grannies, first of all. Second of all, just go to a college and just ask some freshman college girls if they want to be your hot friend. I'm sure it'll go over really well. Maybe don't do that. That wasn't good advice. Clipped? Oh no, I'm ruined. I'm ruined. Next there's gonna be a clip of me giving Flynn a kiss on the head, and people are gonna be like, oh my God, Endeavorance is abusing his dog and trying to eat him. Here, let's see. They're eating the Flynns. they're eating the Flynns. Oh my God. Oh, our music ended. Shit. Let's get tavern vibes up in here. How could you? How could you eat Flynn? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It happens. It happens. Don't eat him. But he's so tasty looking. Look at him. I will look at this dog sometimes. Like when I'm at my most like cooing over this dog, I'll be looking at this dog and be like, oh my God, you're so cute. Give me your face so I can wear it like a mask. The fucking, what's the term for that? Like cuteness rage? Cuteness rage or something like that. Cuteness aggression. Oh, they've got a little kitty. Let's see. Cute aggression, also known as playful aggression or giggle, is the urge to squeeze or bite things perceived as cute without desire to cause them any harm. It's a common type of dimorphous display where a person experiences positive and negative expressions simultaneously in a disorganized manner. Individuals experiencing cute aggression may find themselves clenching their jaws or fists with the urge to squish, pinch, or bite an adorable baby animal or object. About half of adults report experiencing cute aggression. Very good. This cat is pretty cute. Is pretty cute. I wanted to try to find real quick juvenileragdoll.jpg. That's what this is called. These eyes are reminding me that I want to find a picture to share of my grandma's cat, who is I've shared this picture before, but there's a larger audience now. I need you all to see this cat because this cat, it might be the most beautiful creature to have ever existed. And I don't say that lightly. Like, to be clear, I think there's a lot of beauty in this world. This cat might actually be the most beautiful object in this world. Let me try to find it. Cat. If I search cat, there it is. Look at that. Look at this cat. Like, what the fuck? So this is my grandmother's cat. Her name is Misty Blue, which is an excellent name for a cat. But also, look at those fucking eyes. And look at that fur. It's just like the perfect cat. It's crazy. And she's just like a total sweetheart. So that's Misty Blue. I've not seen a prettier kittier, I will say. Please adopt my kittens. They're aggressively adorable. Cat looks so soft. Very soft cat. Very, very soft. Also, Misty Blue is just like the best name. I get cuteness aggression for Alaskan Malamute puppies immediately. Let's see. Malamute puppies. This is important. This is important. Look at, oh, I want to consume. I want to eat them. Oh my God. Going up. That's so good. Eat a dog. Show my cat. All right, I'm gonna show exactly one cat. Ooh. Oh, that's a good cat. So, that's a pretty good cat. I like that cat. It's fluffy. The thing I don't like about that cat is, what are you watching on the TV back there? That's not me. Are you trying to tell me that you watch something that's not me? Are you serious right now? How are you gonna do me like that? It's bullshit. Bullshit. Colored pencils for scale. I do actually want to say that I'm working on a thing. I'm working on a thing, which is a thing that I'm always doing. But I'm working on a thing that I'm pretty excited about. I get a lot of people telling me that they don't want to have to use a certain platform to consume my content, be it TikTok, for like not wanting to have to use TikTok to watch short form stuff. I got plenty of people telling me they didn't want to use Twitch, which is why I really wanted to also stream to YouTube and Owncast. I get people telling me they don't want to use YouTube, but they want to watch my content. And I'm like, well, then I don't know what to do. So I'm making a solution. I'm trying to figure out what to do. So right now, if you go to live.endeavorance.tv, that is my Owncast server. So live.endeavorance.tv. That is a self-hosted streaming platform specifically for my content that I own and operate. So it is not a big tech thing, but you can still watch all of my streams. So whenever I stream, it's also going to be at live.endeavorance.tv. And you can tune in there with no account necessary, nothing. What I'm working on, and I have no timeline for this, but what I'm working on is a website to act as an alternative to my YouTube channel. So I would like for just Endeavorance.tv to be a place that you can go and it'll have like my most recent video and then archives of every video that I've published. Now, I'll have to figure out if I can get a good copy of every video that I've published, but I want to basically be like, okay, you can watch on YouTube here or not on YouTube over here. Obviously, there's some challenges. Streaming video is expensive, like very, very expensive. And the overhead of like maintaining that entire second website is going to be non-zero. But I'm working on a thing to try to streamline that and make it as easy as possible for myself. The issue is that while YouTube pays me when people watch my content, a custom website for my content to stream to people off of YouTube will cost money for every stream. So you pay per like megabyte of data sent over the wire, and videos are expensive. So I get paid for people watching myself on YouTube. I would like to have a place where people don't have to be on YouTube to watch, but to do that, I will lose money while people are watching. So I'm going to have to figure out, it's going to be an experiment at first. I'm going to put up a thing where people can donate. Like there'll just be like a very easy donate link. to support the thing, and I'll maybe put a number if I can get a number that's like, hey, this site costs this much per month to run. You know, we've got this much so far, so on and so forth. Hopefully, I'll be able to find a way to make it sustainable, because I do want that. I don't want people to have to use big tech stuff to engage with my content. And like that's going to be an ongoing theme for me. And there's going to be stuff that I try to build and maybe it works for a bit and then I have to take it back down. But some stuff will stick, and I'm hoping this might be one of them. No idea how long it'll take, but hopefully in the not too distant future, you'll be able to watch my stuff without having to be on YouTube. You got to make an active cost meter next to a funds raised meter. Yeah. Like I got to figure out how to get all that information. I think I can get that information pretty easily. I'll continue to watch. I'll continue to watch with YouTube Premium. Give you a few pennies or however much it is. Yeah, if you like YouTube just fine, like please consider watching on YouTube. that gets me money. Especially if you have YouTube Premium. Tin Staffel is the one thing I learned in economics. Tin Staffel. Tinstaffel. Tin 12 irate nannies sat thoughtfully at a Florida lake. That's probably it, right? PeerTube has streaming, might make things easier to manage. PeerTube is a fucking disaster to manage, unfortunately. So I previously hosted a PeerTube instance and was uploading stuff there years ago, and decided not to because it is expensive and just a giant pain in the ass. PeerTube, for those who don't know, it's a good project, and I'm sure that if you are like a dedicated hoster for it, it's not so bad. But PeerTube is essentially an attempt to do a decentralized open source YouTube alternative. It's cool, it works, it's messy. It's really messy. It's just not, it's not at the level of maturity that I wish it was. Owncast, which I'm using to do my stream at live.endeavorance.tv, is exactly what I was hoping for. So like, it's a single binary, it's like a single program. You just run it on a server and it just, here you go. Now it's working, and like it looks nice, it runs well, it has all the bells and whistles already built in. It's nice. PeerTube just requires so much more extra stuff. So what I'm working on instead is and also PeerTube doesn't solve the problem of hosting costs. So I'm working on a way to try to minimize hosting costs and also minimize effort and maintenance by way of making a statically generated website. So it'll be a thing. Hallsbrook gifted 5 subs to the community. Thank you so much. Wait, Dev, YouTube or Twitch? It doesn't really make much of a difference. You should watch on YouTube for my stream. If you're watching my stream, YouTube versus Twitch doesn't make a huge difference. I would say whichever you prefer in terms of platform, right? Like, that's it. Either way, like, it doesn't really matter unless I'm getting like donated subscriptions like Hallsbrook did. Mostly like the stream is mostly for us, right? I'm not doing this because I make a ton of money from it. This like streams are not how I make the majority of my money. I make some, and that's meaningful, and I really, really, really appreciate it. But it's not the goal for streaming. I'm mostly streaming to yap with y'all. Secondarily, to have VODs to make content from. And thirdarily, from wanting to try to help build more of a community. I really like how it feels to be able to just hang out and yap And I see, you know, whenever I go live and I see people rolling into the chat and they're all excited and y'all are like, hey, everybody, it's great to see y'all. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. Like, that's what I like. That's why I do this. Becca Bearbop says you respond to Twitch chat more. I don't mean to. I'm seeing all of the chats in the same place. So I don't see Twitch chat in one place and YouTube chat elsewhere, and I'm like not looking at YouTube chat. I see all of the chats. It just happens to be that I'm responding to chats that happens to come from Twitch, I guess. What I should do is put a little icon that says like what platform the thing that I'm replying to came from. But yeah, like if you're on YouTube, I definitely don't want you to feel as though you're not being seen. I see your chats. Most of the time, I just overlook it because chat's coming in faster than I can reply. Wisteria T says, I like yapping with you too, Dev. Aw, good. We are the chosen. Chats are the best with fun people and communities. Yeah, I mean, like, multi-streaming is also just weird. Like, I have so many strange rules right now. The reason that we don't have chat on stream, this used to be chat, and now it's just like an activity feed. It's because Twitch punishes you for showing YouTube chat, which is just so fucking dumb. And so, like, I have this thing where, like, I can pull up a chat from YouTube, for example. Like, here's... Mantra, I'm pulling up your chat. I'm not necessarily going to reply to it this second, but like I've pulled this up. This is a YouTube chat, but it's not labeled as YouTube, and it's not like intermixed with the chat, and therefore I don't think I'll get in trouble. But I'm trying to cross stream to multiple platforms. I would love to be able to show a unified chat, but I can't. Unless I wanted to set up a secondary stream that specifically goes to Twitch, and then separately YouTube would have a unified chat, but then Twitch wouldn't have the unified chat. So then I'm trying to not have divergent streams is the problem, because I'm trying to stream to all at once. I want to reply to this though. Where was the thing that I just had highlighted? There was a bunch of talk about YouTube ad blockers blocking view numbers on videos via PC views. Is there anything pointing to it being the same on streams? I wonder if that's being affected for people. I don't actually know. I have no idea. YouTube is weird. YouTube is weird. YouTube's numbers are weird. Like when I look at the view count on a video, for example, it will be thousands different between YouTube Studio and the actual video on YouTube. The comment counts will be different. The content of the comments will be different. YouTube is just weird and inconsistent. Bezos being anti-union, even of chat streams? Accurate. Dev has 3 chats in one. Yeah, let me show you. I showed this last time too, but it's neat. It's kind of neat. Here's what I am looking at. This is the chat feed for me. So like I can see like all of the chats come to this one spot regardless of platform, and I can see that like, you know, this one's on YouTube, this one's on Twitch from a subscriber. Is there an Owncast? Yeah, here's an Owncast chat. According to the website, they have a container that can be pulled from Docker Hub. The actual execution of PeerTube, the actual like running of the program isn't the part that I have trouble with. It's the data management side that's a bit of a bastard. But yeah, so like this is what I'm looking at, and so like I'm not looking at 3 different feeds or whatever. And that's the goal, is to not have a million different feeds to have to consider. It is very neat. We think you're cool, bruh. Thank you. I think you're pretty cool, bruh, too. What do the colors mean? That's a great question. Thanks, Demi Puff. So the colors are set by the users. Right now, all YouTube people are just colored with white, which is the default. I want to see if I can find a way to either just like generate a color for you, or better yet, I'm working on making it so that people on YouTube are able to customize their name and color, which you can do on Twitch currently. I want to make YouTube and Owncast also able to customize their name and color and how they appear on stream. So for YouTube, it's just going to be white right now. For people who are on Twitch, by default, it's whatever color your Twitch name is. And then you can change the color by doing !color and then the name of a color or an HTML hex code in chat, and that'll change your color. YouTube can't do that yet, and neither can Owncast. Still working on that. There's too much to do, and there's no time in the world. I've never once had time in my life. Rumpled Crow says, I just like purple. I like purple too. I'm a big purple boy. Can't you tell? I actually do very much like purple. It's like my favorite color. Fun fact, the English word for black also comes from the same root word as white in French, blanc. But it comes from different interpretations from what is left over from a burned fire. Yo. That's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe if we all work together, we can find the intersection of time and motivation. Oh, that's really good to know. That's a really good question. Makes you wonder if they sanitize the inputs of the exclamation point commands. It's not a matter of YouTube is not working with my existing commands. It's a matter of the existing commands are only listening on Twitch. So all of this setup is like a custom app with custom integrations. The Twitch commands are handled at the Twitch integration level, not at the chat unification level. So the way that it... Give me a second. I need a whiteboard. Whiteboard. Give me a whiteboard. Can I make the whiteboard black? Would that be a blackboard? Oh well.
Going up.
Okay. This is how Endeavorance's stream setup works. Okay. By Dev. Okay, class is in session. Hello class. Class is in session. We're gonna talk about how my stream setup works. Because my goodness, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's start with shapes. Perfect. Okay. So we want what the fuck are what's services? Flowchart shapes. Perfect. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Where's polygons, stars, arrows? I want like the like a design, like a where's the fucking whatever. All right, square, rounded circle means service. Okay, so we've got Twitch, right? Oh God, oh that's way too big. Okay, we got Twitch, we've got YouTube, and Owncast. We've got, what else do we got? We got Discord. What else is integrated? Mastodon. Okay, so we're gonna move these over here for now because they're not quite relevant yet. But here are like streaming services, right? So here are some streaming services. This is making me mad because I need to change this to be like YouTube is like red, right? We're gonna make Owncast. It's gonna be like bluish, right? Okay. So we've got our streaming services, right? And then we've got I'm currently using Restream for part of it, not all of it, part of it. So Restream is a service that essentially just like lets you stream to Restream, and then Restream streams it to other platforms. So it's like a single point of entry for my stream that then streams back out to the rest of these. So can I can. Okay. So we're gonna link these, right? I want to change. This is like okay. Can I add a name? Can I add like a label? I can. Stream feed. Stream feed. That doesn't look good. There we go. And stream feed. Okay, so it's gonna take a while to get all of the stuff on here. This is gonna take a little while. Let's do, okay, so we got Restream, we've got OBS. OBS is in the mix somewhere, you know. So we're just gonna do that. Let's make it, what color is OBS? Let's make it black, why not? Okay, so we've got OBS, we've got me, I'm here somewhere. Let's find, surely there's a picture of, there we go. Okay. So we've got me. All right. This is coming together very, very well. So something that is not currently listed here is we need to have the Stardust relay, which I'm going to make purpley. We'll do that. Haha. Okay, wait, no, I can't read it now. There we go. Okay. So, oh my God, what else do we need? We still need more. That's gonna go there. So I think, so from here, I stream. We're gonna do, the arrow goes that way. Okay. Stream feed. So I stream with OBS, right? So OBS is taking a stream feed. OBS is sending that to Restream. Stream feed. All right. So I stream to OBS. OBS is streaming, sorry, I'm streaming with OBS. OBS is sending that feed to Restream. Restream is then sending that out to Owncast, YouTube, and Twitch. The Stardust Relay is a custom app that I have built that powers my like community integrations with stuff. So for example, my chatbot, which will represent with this shape, whatever the fuck that is called Campfire. So Campfire is a custom Discord chatbot that's powered by the Stardust Relay and interacts with it and is what connects Discord to the relay. So where's Discord? Discord's gonna come over here. Okay. Mastodon, you aren't involved here actually. Okay, so let's just tidy this up a little bit. So Discord communicates with Campfire. Let's bump up the font size here. Nope, too big. There we go. All right. Discord and Campfire talk back and forth to each other. And that's how Discord is connected to all of this. Campfire is then connected to the Stardust Relay. Here's what's then happening. Twitch is sending its chats directly to the Stardust Relay. So this is chat messages are coming in from Twitch to the relay. So this relay app thing, this server, is what is actually giving me my admin feed. So I need another thing. I need my overlay app. And we're gonna pull me out a little bit, make some more space. Okay, overlay app, bump up the thing. What's your background color gonna be? Let's make you that. Okay. So this is gonna send all of my unified chats to the overlay app. So this is gonna send relay chats, which are essentially a unified version of every other platform's chat objects. So this is also sending chats to the relay. This sends information. The chat feed goes to me. Okay. So how are we then getting Owncast and YouTube? Well, glad you asked. Owncast is sending... That's not true. YouTube. Oh no. I need to switch YouTube and Owncast. Hold on. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. And we're going to delete that. We're going to have it come out of here. There we go. This is sending chats to Restream. And Restream, through its own event system, is forwarding those events to the relay. Forwarded YouTube chats. Okay. So from there, Owncast is also sending in chat messages. By way of a webhook. And I need this to be above, please. Hello? There we go. Okay. Owncast is sending chat messages into the Stardust Relay. Twitch is sending chat messages into the Stardust Relay. YouTube is forwarding chat messages to Restream, which forwards chat messages to the Relay. Relay normalizes all of those chats and sends those to my overlay, which then actually renders a feed. So that is sort of this is a subsection of the overall system. Like, this is just the streaming subsection, because there's also... Can I like group these? Can I do like a... Oh, I have an idea. Okay, if I take this and I'm like, don't have a fill, but do have a border. Great. So this is like the streaming subsection of it all, right? This is like one sort of part. This does not include the like message or the post forwarding from Mastodon into Discord, or the integration between the Lodge and Twitch. Like, we also have a whole ass separate thing that is the Lodge, which is a custom like web app that anyone in my community can log into, and they can authenticate using their Discord account. Soon they'll be able to authenticate using other things too. So like, the Lodge authenticates with Discord and also communicates with the Stardust Relay to show all this information, let you configure your settings and all that stuff. That also is where like Mastodon comes into play. You've got like Mastodon is also connected to the relay, and also also connected to the Lodge, and also connected to Campfire. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to stop setting up more of this flowchart. But largely, let's get rid of this. We don't need all these extra parts or whatever. Largely, this is the lion's share of the current stream setup. So when people ask me if I can like easily package this up and share it so that other people can use it, this is my answer to you asking if I can how my stream setup is. It's not awful. It's not ridiculous. But yeah. Is Discord getting the chats from all of them, or is that just going to you? Discord is connected and chats are being collected, but they're not going anywhere right now. What I want to do, what I'm going to do next is I have a stream chat, like a stream stuff channel in my Discord. I would like for those messages to also show up in my unified streaming dashboard, so that if you are in Discord and like watching the stream, you can still just chat from Discord and I'll be able to reply to you. So that's a thing. That's not quite there yet. But yeah, largely it's I before I was using Restream, I was using a thing to just directly stream to YouTube, Owncast, and Twitch. Restream just like helps save on bandwidth, basically. Wait, if all chats, including YouTube, get passed through Restream, then technically they're no longer YouTube chats. So you can have that as an overlay without being penalized. I like where your head's at. It's a good technicality. I don't think that's how it works. They're still coming from YouTube, and I would still have to brand them as like YouTube chats. But that's why I'm not doing that. That's why I'm doing this, right? That's why they're coming in. They're all going into the relay. The relay at this step, this takes in 4 different types of chat messages, and it converts them into one shape, like one unified message format that then gets sent to the overlay itself. So this is like normalizing all of the different chats and sending them over. So by the time that the overlay gets them, it doesn't care really where they came from. Like, that's a detail. The origin of the chat is a detail at that point. But for the purposes of showing them to you, I still can't acknowledge that they are originated from YouTube. So there's that. Now, let's see how many people have left my stream since I started doing a doing a flowchart. Welcome to my flowchart stream, everyone. I know what you come to my stream for. You come here for technical flowcharts and literally nothing else, actually. Nothing at all. Let's talk about the ceasefire. So a while back, a couple weeks ago, the United States proposed a 20-point plan to end the genocide in Gaza. The plan is essentially Israel withdraws and it ends, but it also includes Hamas completely dissolves, all weapons are removed from Gaza, and a neutral international privacy force or security force will be like deployed into Gaza. It also stops very short of saying that Gaza is guaranteed statehood, or Palestine is guaranteed statehood, but they are still moving forward with the deal. So it's not that they have accepted the deal as written. Yeah, neutral is doing heavy lifting there. It's not that they're accepting the deal as written, but they're accepting the first steps of the deal, which is stop bombing us and get out of here. So Israel, in theory, is supposed to pull back out of Gaza. Unfortunately, like hours after that agreement was had, Israel was still bombing Gaza. So I'm not holding my breath. And also, like, it's a 20-point plan. That means that at every single point along that plan, Netanyahu has an option to say, they didn't uphold the plan, so we're going to go right back to bombing them. Like, that is almost definitely going to happen, but I'm not trying to, like... I'm trying to remain optimistic because I want these people's suffering to end. I don't want the suffering to continue. I really want this to stick. Like, I don't care who is involved. I want the end of suffering. I don't love all of the conditions they're in, but still. How are there still survivors? Force of will and the incredible power of the Palestinian people is how. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands, have been killed, and virtually all of Gaza has been leveled, and almost every single person has been displaced, and almost every single person in Gaza is currently facing a hunger crisis. Whatever ends this suffering, good. But I just don't have high hopes that it'll hold. Like, Netanyahu's cabinet is pissed at him for implying that Israel will stick with this plan. Like, they do not want this. The ultra far right in Israel, who Netanyahu has like buddied up to and has been the driving force behind his power recently, they want to obliterate every Palestinian. Like, they proudly go on record making the assertion that the Palestinian people do not exist, and that the only path forward is the extinction of the people who think that they're Palestinians. That is their view of them. That is what his highest, like, these aren't random people who are advisors. These are like ministers of internal affairs and shit. Like cabinet members. And they're mad at Netanyahu for even sort of implying that Gaza might continue to exist. So like, I don't believe that this is Netanyahu changed his mind. He's like, nah, all that talk that I was saying about completely taking over Gaza, I didn't mean it. I think he means it. But hopefully, I've been covering the situation in Gaza for like 2 straight years, and obviously covering it is not the same as experiencing it at all. It has still changed me. It has very much affected me, like a lot. I've seen things that I never thought I was going to have to see in my life, just casually, constantly. Reading about the suffering, talking about the suffering, being told that I'm overreacting to the suffering, being told that they deserve the suffering by random people who were probably bots, but I had family reach out concerned because they were like, why do you hate Jews? And I'm like, I don't even know how to begin explaining to you how insane of a statement that is. The amount of just weirdness of watching a country have to reconcile with 4K footage of the results of our taxpayer dollars going towards liberating children from their body parts, and watching people bend over backwards to try to explain why either that's not true or that's over exaggerated, or worst of all, it's righteous. Fucked. Very, very, very fucked. And I know that a lot of it just has to do with indoctrination and people who were raised as like Zionists their entire life, basically. I can hydrate. People who are raised as Zionists their entire life, it's the same as the people who are raised like Christian their entire life, or like raised like super, super, super far right to believe that like Republicans equals God and never question authority. It's the same thing. So when you tell somebody like, hey, Zionism is a like fascist movement. It is a movement predicated on the forced eradication of people. And it is a political movement, not a religious one. When someone who has spent their entire life being told that like Zionism is righteous and like the only way that Jews will be saved, and Zionism, if people are against Zionism, then they're anti-Semitic. Someone who's been raised to believe that will just fucking melt down. They'll never stop and be like, oh, you know, let me assess and like consider my positions here. Like, no, that's never going to happen. They're gonna fucking freak out. And it's really sad because it's one of the weaker worldviews to hold. Like, it's not justifiable in any way, right? Like, there's the justifications for Israel existing by way of Zionism are entirely colonial in nature. Like, they're entirely just white people said that they deserve to be in this one place, and instead of saying we want to return to the Holy Land and coexist peacefully with the people who are there, they said we want to eradicate all the Browns and establish a new country where they once lived, which is not how it works. And they love to just overlook that and just say like, oh, well, the history is so complicated. It's not complicated. Israel didn't exist until England put it there. The UK made a deal with a racist and they made a country about it. And in doing so, pushed hundreds of thousands of Palestinians out of their homes. I'm reading a book called Palestine Plus 100. I definitely recommend. It's wild. Plus 100. What is a good website? World Literature Today. So Palestine Plus 100 is a collection of several science fiction short stories that take place 100 years after the Nakba in Palestine. The Nakba being essentially the beginning of the end. It was the eradication of people in Palestine to assert the establishment of Israel. And essentially what happened was a ton of Palestinians were forcibly removed from Palestine and never got to go back. And so there have been like generations of people born being told about how like, yeah, well, you know, we still own a house back home, but someone's there right now claiming it's a different country. And in the foreword for this book, the author, or one of the authors, talks about their memory of their father, who was alive for the Nakba, and walked out of his house, locked his door behind him, put his keys in his pocket, and then was removed from the country. And this person remembers their father talking about carrying that key to his house with him and how he never got to use it again. So this man walked out of his house and locked the door to his home and then never saw it again, but he carried that key with him for the rest of his life on the hope that he'll be able to return to his home and unlock his door once again. And he never had that chance. This book explores what could be. Here's some science fiction taking place in Palestine 100 years after the Nakba. Let's talk about like what the world could look like and like how things could be happening. But what's really fucking interesting, and like, again, just from the intro of this book, the author talks about how Western audiences essentially don't realize that, like, we're told that Palestinians hate the Israeli people. We're told that there's this like animosity, that there's just this unbridled hatred that they're taught from an early age to want to kill the Israelis. That's propaganda. That is what the Israeli government wants people to believe that Palestinians do to justify going after them. It's the same fucking shit they're doing here with ICE being like, oh, well, the immigrants are dangerous and taking your jobs, so we have to go after them. They're trying to say, oh, this is the reality of the situation. Trust us. That's why we have to do this stuff. In Palestine, in Palestinian fiction, there's like not a given that a story will have an enemy. Like there's not a given that there's a hero and an enemy. They don't function in the otherwise like pretty basic framework that the West is used to of here's the hero of the story, here's the bad guy, there's a good side and a bad side. That's just not how they approach writing. And that's like, that is lost on a lot of people in translation. You don't think about the abstract structures of storytelling when you think about media from other places. That's not the first thing that comes to mind, especially for someone living in the US, where all of our media places itself as if it's the center of how media happens. Like Hollywood and essentially the notion that if it's important, it happens here, right? So there's a lot of people who won't even think about how different storytelling can be. And so these aren't stories about 100 years out from when we got screwed over, let's fantasize about revenge against the Israelis. The author talks about how Israelis are rarely even depicted in Palestinian fiction because they don't need to do that because that's their reality. They talk about stepping outside. Like a person living in the West Bank doesn't need a dystopian sci-fi adventure to experience dystopia. They step outside and they can see that there are garrisoned, reinforced walls with armed soldiers in every direction. That's their horizon. They don't get a mountainside. They get barbed wire on walls with watchtowers. And so their fiction is not writing about that. Their fiction is escapism. It's a really interesting book. The first story is fucking crazy. So like be ready for a really intense ride. Out the gate, I wasn't ready for it when I started this book and I had to put it down. But yeah, Palestine plus 100. Highly recommend. Jews and Muslims lived peacefully together under the Ottoman Empire. That's the tragic part. It's not like even in modern day, we have other places where Jews and Muslims live in harmony, like beyond harmony, as neighbors, like as community members. Look at Morocco. You'll have a mosque next to a synagogue and they'll go out for lunch afterwards. They're all buddies. Gotta go. Thanks for sharing the book. Take care, Clara. Be well. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. Like it could be peaceful. It could have been completely different. They could have gone back to Palestine and made a Israeli coalition, the concept of the idea of Israel. And then they could have made it whatever they wanted it to be. Oh yeah, here's where Israel is. It's more of an idea than it is a country. But no, they had to make it a fucking geopolitical entity because white people. And Christians, so many of the Palestinians are Christians. It's fucking wild. Yeah, there are definitely Palestinian Christians as well. Religious triangulation is blah, same gods. That too. The clips of seeing people accost Muslims about their God, about like Allah, and not realizing that I'm like Allah is literally Yahweh, right? Like am I wrong in that? They might just, is Allah Yahweh? Yes. Oh wait, Yahweh and Jehovah are the same God. Allah is not the only name by which Muslims address the deity, but it's the Arabic word for God. There are two theories among Christians about the Allah of Islam. One theory is that Allah cannot be identified with Yahweh because too many of the former's characteristics are unlike those of Yahweh. The differences largely have to do with differences in the two deities' respective dispositions. The theory, it seems to me, overlooks, this is just like a random forum post, overlooks the fact that there is a real God, whether regarded as Allah or Yahweh or any other label, who exists independently of the various theological propositions that different religions may propose about him. This raises the question of whether people who affirm mistaken propositions about God are talking about a different God or simply mistaken about the one true God. To those for whom God is nothing but the sum of theological propositions in their minds, then Allah is certainly not Yahweh. To those who realize that God objectively exists apart from the views men hold of him, the alternative can be considered. So it sounds like, maybe, kinda, sorta. They are different. He talks about Yahweh. Really? So Allah talks about Yahweh separately? But like, is it not an instance of like I'm a god and so like sometimes I talk in third person kind of thing? At the root, they are all the same. They believe in the God of Abraham, thus Abrahamic religions. I mean, yeah, they're all like, they forked from the same place, you know? There is no one true Gid, unfortunately. That's just, that is unfortunate. Flynn, are you the one true Gid? Flynn might be the one true good. Maybe. Dev, did you hear how that had a false belief in a one true God? Why am I being yelled at? I'm being yelled at. Why am I being yelled at? He says yes. Yeah, he does. Yahweh is the Old Testament God, in my understanding. Yahweh sounds chill as hell. I know he's not, right? Like, Yahweh is not chill. Yahweh is about as not chill as you can get. Kind of flooded the planet, kind of rained down sulfur, kind of turned people into pillars of salt, kind of told a guy to kill his kid. Not a particularly chill God. But the name does sound kind of chill. Hey, yo, this is my buddy Yahweh. Yo, come hang out with my... I'm gonna go see what Yahweh's up to. Like, I would hang out with a dude named Yahweh. That sounds pretty chill. I'm gonna give the dog a quick pat on the head. It's the AI. Anyway, I am probably going to be closing down the stream here shortly so I can go get some lunch and take care of a few things. But it's been a good one. This one went by really fast. How did that happen? Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I stream every Wednesday and Friday, starting at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern, and that's that. You know, sorry for the folks who are like just popping in. I am closing down here soon. KR says, "Oh hi, just taking a break from house repairs to eat a delicious bagel, and stuff still happened. Thanks, Endeavorance. First of all, what kind of bagel? This is important to me. I have a lot of opinions about bagels. And by that, I mean, I have one opinion about bagels, which is that everything bagel and chive cream cheese, thank you. So new streams every Wednesday at 11 a.m. US Eastern. I've been also posting VODs. So if you want to catch the full VOD of this stream, it'll be up on my main YouTube channel. There's a live tab. If you go to my channel, there's a tab that says lives. You'll be able to find the VOD there later today. Other than that, gonna have Stuff Keeps Happening. That's the show that I do. I do a show. It's called Stuff Keeps Happening. New episode on Monday, and there's a new episode of my Minecraft Let's Play. So if you are not already following my gaming channel, you should do that. Endeavorance Games. Here's the channel. It's youtube.com/Endeavorance Games. And there's a new episode of my Minecraft Hardcore series up on there right now. It came out this past Wednesday. If you haven't seen it before, it's a series where I attempt to beat Minecraft on hardcore mode, but I don't actually know how to beat Minecraft. And if I die, I have to restart. And so it's called Minecraft Sisyphus Edition. And it is a beautiful disaster. So, I started a new season of it recently. There are also older seasons from a couple years back in the backlog, so you can always find those if you want more. So that's all. Cool. Take care. Be well. I'll see y'all on Monday and then Wednesday. Bye-bye.